Hello again, I am Blunty. Now, it's been a long time between game reviews for me. I know I did the Atari thing like a week and a half ago or whatever it was, but let's face it, that really doesn't count, does it? So I found this, and I thought, Star Wars, The Clone Wars, Republic Heroes. A long name for a game, it's awkward, but, you know, I'll give it a go. I love Star Wars, I've been really enjoying the cartoon, and what could possibly go wrong, I thought to myself. The back of the box here says, intense Jedi combat. Leap and slice your way through enemy lines with the acrobatic power of the Jedi. Frantic clone blasting. Wield an impressive arsenal of weapons from rocket launchers to thermal detonators. And join forces, fight alongside a friend on any mission at any time with drop-in, drop-out co-op gameplay. Sounds exciting enough, and I thought I'd give it a go, so let's take a look at what I thought of this game. Star Wars The Clone Wars Republic Heroes is, as you might guess, if you're not dumber than a freshly painted battle droid, a game tie-in to the current Clone Wars cartoon. The game plays out a storyline that, like almost every storyline in the show, is thin, but intended to be action-packed and attempts some cheesy humour, which when it lands, it inspires at most a chuckle, but when it fails, and it fails often in this particular game, it's close to being psychological torture. The entire game is based around a selection of teams of two heroes running, jumping, slashing, shooting and force pushing their way through 3D platformer style levels in an effort to destroy as many naughty separatist scum as possible. You get control of one of the characters, and no, you have no choice about which one, and the other one is either controlled by the hopelessly stupid computer AI, or a friend can drop in or drop out at any time for some co-op play. Now, all this character switching between levels may at first glance sound like a fun way to mix up the action, see the story unfold from several different viewpoints, and give you a better chance of being able to wield the might of your favourite character. But the cold hard fact is, this mechanic is here to try, for as long as possible, to prevent you from realising how monotonous and repetitive the gameplay is. Aside from being a pretty mindless button masher where as long as you're pointed in the general direction of an enemy you can slice up as many PG rated friendly droids as you like, every single Jedi you get to play as feels exactly the same as the last. Their attacks are all the same, their abilities are all identical, even the character animations are only barely superficially different. Even in the cartoon, Mace Windu has a vastly different fighting style to Anakin Skywalker, but here, you might as well pretend Mace is just Skywalker in blackface. Was it just too hard to add in those little differences we've come to take for granted in multi-character games, like some are faster or have a longer reach, or deal more damage or are more powerful in using the force push? I was screaming out for even a taste of variety to drag me away from what became a stunningly uninspiring, repetitive and stilted battle mechanic. Playing as the Clone Troopers, believe it or not, was actually more fun than playing generic Jedi number 5. The variety of attacks and weapons was better. You can use your blaster or stun grenade or an explosive one, or use a rocket launcher or a minigun. Sometimes you even get to glide about with a jetpack, and once in a while you even get to ride a walker and mercilessly stomp and blast your way through waves of droid whose only possible future is scorched and twisted metal. It was easy, sure, and you are now vastly more powerful than any droid you meet, and there was absolutely no challenge in killing enemies or walking along the one and only path you can possibly take. But by the furry fists of Chewbacca, it was fun. One feature which promised fun but failed harder than Stormtrooper marksmanship training was the fact you can leap atop a droid, jam your lightsaber right through their shiny head and tickle the droid groin from inside with your glowing rod of death, and then take control of them for a short time. You can fire their weapons or just jump off again and watch them fall over and slowly fade away. But rather than being fun, this too became tedious. The only real reason for ever doing this was to solve level puzzles, or make something that blocks your path explode, or launch a floating droid projectile-like into a rock or enemy. And even then, there's a massive over-reliance on it, and there's no variety. It's insultingly simple, and even if you do stuff it up, all you have to do is wait a few seconds for the next droid to spawn and try it all over again. Hijack a droid, use its unique ability once, jump off, continue. Not very exciting. And the puzzles in this game all seem to be insulting to the intelligence of even a prepubescent and alcoholic gamer. To say they were simple is an understatement. To be honest, I feel a deep, dark side level of hate for myself even calling them puzzles.
They are just things you are told you have to do before you can move on. Yoda even pops up and tells you exactly how to accomplish it. You don't have to actually solve anything, you just do what you're told. So in place of the change of pace and chance to feel pride for figuring out a puzzle, instead what we are left with is an unfulfilling insert tab A into slot B to continue situation, which does give you a change of pace, but only insofar as it brings the game to a screeching, tedious crawl while you go through the motions. And to add insult to injury, even the puzzles repeat themselves level after level with little variation, so double tedium. The level design, while it looks the part and generally feels right, your balls are definitely nailed to the rails on this one. Any dreams of exploring or taking alternate paths are there in name only, and if you do get a choice, it's usually, well, you can jump across these platforms here, or you can use the ones that run precisely parallel to these but are slightly in the background. And it's often the case where an entire path of a level will require you to do the same things over and over and over again. It's poorly designed and only adds to the feeling of repetitiveness and tedium. And while the gameplay for the most part was at least consistent, and the camera is usually well behaved and everything looks and sounds right, there were some frustrating glitches, like the computer-controlled teammates in a squad of your fellow clone troopers forever getting in your way, or being stuck in a corner of the screen when your computer-controlled partner just utterly refuses to get the flying force crap out of your way. And I even got hopelessly stuck behind some scenery at one point and had to wait helplessly for almost 10 minutes while my brain-damaged computer-controlled partner dispatched the on-screen enemies in the most horrifically inefficient way possible. I'll make this clear, your partner is utterly useless. They will get in your way whenever possible. They will mindlessly destroy the droid you're trying to hijack so you can complete the objective. They will utterly fail to kill enemies when you need them to, though if you're lucky they might at least keep one droid distracted for a few seconds. They will blindly leap off platforms or get left behind only to spring back to your side at the next spawn point. And when you're in platforming mode, leaping from tiny platform A to generic platform B, there's a system built in to use the Force to ensure you land safely. The problem is that the system is broken and only actually works half the time, so be prepared to scream at your TV as your character dies in a string of pathetic drunken accidents because the game has decided that while in the very first level Yoda absolutely assures you that this system will ensure a Jedi lands sure-footed and safely, you are going to fall and die over and over again in stunningly embarrassing ways unbefitting of a Jedi, and even battle droids will laugh at you. There are occasional mini-games you can do mid-level, but all these are nothing more than, hey, you want to do the exact same thing you just did over again, but this time there's a time limit and a competitive score system. And it's always nothing more sophisticated than kill as many droids as you can, or collect as many orbs as you can before the time runs out. When you kill things you get points, when you die you lose points, unless you're at 0 points, in which case your death is penalty free. And the only purpose of these points is you get to spend them on gimmicky and mismatched masks or hats, or the moderately more useful ability upgrades, which you don't actually need, and for some so-called cheats, like having all the characters have massive heads, because when the NBA arcade game did that 15 years ago, it was funny. The more cynical amongst us will see this for what it really was made for. There's no real ambition to be a fantastic game, it just aims to be merely good enough to, at most, satisfy a new direction of young Star Wars fans who don't like to be challenged too much in their games, and at the very least, separate parents from another fistful of Christmas cash. This game was built lazily and without passion.
Now about the controls, I was almost going to penalise this game for not taking fullest advantage of the Wii Remote Controls. You can waggle to, move your lightsaber, and in the clone trooper sections you have to point at the screen to aim your little reticle and shoot things and all that sort of stuff. But aside from that, you can play the entire game just sitting there like I did. I didn't waggle for the lightsaber because there's a button you can press and just he goes nuts all over the screen with it. You're nothing but a blur of lightsaber glow thing. So I played the entire game sitting like this, and I was gonna penalise the game for that. I was gonna say, well, they didn't work very hard on the Wii, they didn't take very good advantage of the motion sensor. And then I thought to myself, no, that's a good thing, because there are a lot of Wii games out there that just use the motion sensing capabilities for the sake of them being used. They're there, we'll use them, and it doesn't always work. Sometimes it's to the detriment of the game that they put in the motion sensing, like I think the Transformers game on the Wii of the first movie. Now, the motion controls on that were just awful, 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 and I would have rather buy it on any other console and play it properly, or just... Anyway, but the point is, I was going to penalise this Star Wars game for that, and then I thought, no, actually, I've done it right, because I don't want to be doing this throughout the entire game. I just want to sit down, play the game, use the motion controls when it makes sense for the game. So I'm giving it full points. I'm giving the guys at Krome absolute full points for just showing restraint and only using the motion sensing controls when it actually makes sense. Okay, so we've established that this game probably isn't the best choice for people like me, but it would be a great choice for the younger kids, say under 12, who don't want something too challenging, too frustrating. You know, when you're a kid, you're playing a game, it gets too hard, you get frustrated, you throw it away and you never play it again. But if you're a younger kid, or you're a parent, or an uncle, or a cousin looking for a present for your young Star Wars fan, this is a pretty good way to go. But do not, under any circumstances, buy one of these things. I don't know what you're thinking. That's probably an ideal companion piece to a Star Wars game. What could be more fun than snapping your Wii controller into a lightsaber and playing the game? But it really doesn't work that well, because, for one, the lightsaber is quite unimpressive. It doesn't make noise. The glow really doesn't fill the blade properly and all that sort of stuff. It feels very, very cheap and plasticky. It's made awfully. And because the way the gameplay is designed, you sometimes have to take the Wii Remote out of this contraption to play the trooper levels, because you need to aim at the screen, you need to aim your weapon, you need the end of the Wii Remote clear to see the sensor bar. And while the blade here does clip off, for God knows why reason, there's still no window for that little sensor to see through. So what you have to do is take it out. But it's not as simple as just snapping it out, because the game also plays with the nunchuck. You need the nunchuck throughout the entire game. So whenever you have to switch from using your lightsaber in the Jedi battles, you have to unclip this thing and then pop the Wii Remote out and then clip the thing back in and then grab your nunchuck and away you go. And this all happens between levels. Like, you just start a level and you have to pause it and do that thing, and it's a stupid idea, and that game accessory is probably the worst idea ever to play this game with. Maybe there's another Wii Star Wars game where you don't need to do all that bullshit. I don't know. I haven't played any others, honestly. But that's a bad idea. So if you're buying this for a Christmas present, for a friend, family member, whatever, do not, no matter how tempting it is, buy that stupid lightsaber accessory, because you will regret it. They will hate it. So even if you are a hardcore Star Wars fan, you can probably safely skip this game and you're not going to be missing much. You're going to breeze through it really quickly, just like I did, and you're going to never touch it again. You're going to trade it in. You're going, well, what was that about? That was pointless. That was worthless. I could have been playing something else. Anyway, I'm risking this review becoming longer than the actual gameplay. So I'll say goodbye now. I've been Blunty, thanks for watching, and this has been the review of Star Wars The Clone Wars Republic Heroes on the Nintendo Wii. Catch you next time. Bye.
This isn't target practice, droid.